Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel. And hey, you remember that time I said this wasn't exclusively a wrestling channel? I meant it, it's not. But I do feel like there's some stuff we should discuss today. I promise there are other videos coming out very soon. And for those of you wondering, where's my top 10 shows of 2025? If you're that pressed about it, let me know in the comments. Let me know in messages or something. I will get that video out as soon as I can. I just have other things going on. I don't think it's a super important video. But if you want to know, I'll do the whole video to let you know what my top 10 shows of the year are. It's pretty obvious what my favorite show was if you watch my top 15 matches. I still won't spoil it. Go watch that. You'll figure out what number 1 is. If you want to know what numbers 2 through 10 are, I will gladly do it. But we're here to discuss the first 3-hour Smackdown in a long time. I can't actually remember when they stopped being 3 hours. And talk about the fact that it was pretty good. I normally don't do this. I normally don't just sit back and chat about an episode of wrestling. But I feel like this Smackdown, next Monday's Raw, and next Friday's Smackdown are all big enough shows to where I'm going to try to talk about them to the best of my ability. This is a reminder that, or start this with a reminder, I should say, that I don't actually have Netflix and I don't have really a way to watch Smackdown as it's going on. So this is more of a retrospective, going back and watching like clips and the videos on YouTube. The main event, the ambulance match, is in full, so I went back and checked that out, which we will get to. I will say I wanted to do this kind of in order, but instead I'm just going to kind of talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, which isn't much, to be completely honest with you. I had 2 gripes with this episode of Smackdown, and one of them's been kind of negated. So instead of changing the background every time I want to talk, the background's just going to be this shot with Cody and Drew, which I think is a super important conversation that we will have in just a moment. Hold on. So let's go ahead and discuss all the crap that went down on Friday Night Smackdown. 3 hours now, which I remember when Raw was 3 hours. If they did it right, it was really good. If you can take a weekly television program that is 3 hours long and make it interesting, you're doing things right. Raw kind of failed at it. When Smackdown was first 3 hours, it didn't really do what it needed to do. Like, it would still have quick matches or stories that didn't go anywhere or extra long promos, which, again, this Smackdown did have, but it was worth it in the end. So I was curious to see what they were going to do. And like I said, I think they kind of knocked it out of the park. The problem is, can they keep this kind of energy up? I don't think so, but we'll see. But the show started with The Miz coming out and cutting this really long promo about his tiny balls or him not having tiny balls. He said the word balls a lot, but he tried not to say Joe Hendry for obvious reasons. But this, again, while the promo was kind of long, I didn't have any problem with it because of what it led to. You were supposed to get annoyed at how long he was talking so that when I hear voices came over the speakers, you could be like, holy crap, it's Randy Orton. So that was a really good start. Randy Orton, I think, is the best superstar in all of WWE right now. He's definitely the top star in WWE. That's controversial, I know, with people like Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Rollins and Cody. But he's definitely one of those guys. He's like the legend now. With him, it's like him and AJ Styles. Chris Jericho's about to come back, which will be awesome. So there's all these, now that John Cena's gone, everyone is kind of looking to Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton's got a lot of time left in him. I don't think he's going to be in any of these retirement rumor mills for 2026, which is going to be a separate video. We're going to talk about all the people potentially retiring this and next year. But he comes out, him and Miz stand there for a while. He fist bumps him. Miz says they're going to be Miz KO. Orton's like, yeah, no, RKO. Pick him up. Second RKO. And then he goes back and tells Cody that he wants to come after the title. This is a feud that people have wanted pretty much since Cody returned to the WWE, and I can't argue it. They have a long history with legacy and all that, and Cody, of course, left the company, came back. So I like how SmackDown started. You got the Miz out there, who's always down to do whatever he's asked to do. He's a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He always has been, and he always will be. And then you got Randy Orton back on the program. And he dropped the Miz. Maybe we'll do a match. I assume we do. I hope we do. You got to get Orton reestablished. I know, not really. He's Randy Orton. But go ahead and get him out there. Let him face the Miz. Let him beat the Miz in a few minutes. They've had a history as well. So you can even build on that a little bit if you want. Maybe wait a week or two for the match. Or do it next week. I mean, you got 3 hours to fill, even though there will be a 3 Stages of Hell match. But yeah, so it was a really good start to SmackDown. Hot start to SmackDown. Love the fact that Orton's interacting with Cody. I love that, and this is going to make some people mad, But WWE is treating Cody Rhodes like AEW is treating MJF. And you don't always get that from both companies. Sometimes you don't get it from either company. Sometimes the world champion in either company, in any company, is just kind of hanging around playing Nintendo before they have a challenger who walks up and goes, I want your belt. And then they have a match that nobody wanted to see, and then they have 2 rematches as well. This time, it seems like both companies, both major companies that is, have taken their world champion and placed them in the center with like a circle of enemies, a circle of rivals, if you will, just ready to take them down. We're here talking about WWE, of course. You got Drew McIntyre, you got Randy Orton, and then you had other people talking about the world title throughout the show. So Cody has a long list of contenders that he could, he really could take the whole year with all of these people. And then you have to take into account the Royal Rumble winner, and if they're going to be after the world champion or WWE champion. And we're not here to talk about the Rumble right now. I know there's murmurings and rumblings that Roman Reigns might win the Rumble, and we might get Cody Roman 3. I wouldn't do that, but we'll talk about that on another video. But again, really good stuff. And then it just it didn't stop for the whole show. It was like go, 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 go. I don't remember exactly what order this all happened in, so my apologies. But the middle of the show, you had lots of stuff. You had Jordynne Grace show up in the back and pretty much confirm, I don't think she actually said it out loud, but she pretty much confirmed that she's now on Smackdown. And she confronted Julia, Chelsea Green, and Jade Cargill. I saw a lot of people saying that this Jade Cargill promo was really bad. It wasn't great, but you have to remember that in WWE, they have a certain way they want you to do things. And I think that no matter how long Jade has been there now, she's still learning the WWE style. And that's what makes me upset when people are like, well, she sucks at promos. This is how she would get better. You make her take the time to cut more promos. Yes, they can take all the time in the world to train her to do it, but when you're out there in front of the people, it's totally different. Trust me, I know. I never got to do a promo or a match in front of an actual crowd. And I can tell you right now that even talking about it makes my nerves go, whoa. Probably need to see a doctor if my nerves are making that noise, but you get my point. But Jordynne Grace versus Jade Cargill, while the promos would be good, I don't even know if you need much promo time. You should give everyone promo time, especially during a feud. But Jordynne and Jade, they're big, meaty women slapping women meat, which sounds way worse than I mean it to, but you know what I mean. It's the Big E special on the women's side of things. They're just going to kick each other's ass, throw each other around. It'll be really good stuff. I don't think she should be going right for Jade, but I like the fact she interacted with her. Jordynne Grace will be women's world champion within 2 years. I think she should be women's world champion this year. I wouldn't even mind talking about the Rumble. I wouldn't mind giving her the Rumble win, like a shock Rumble win, and then her winning the title at WrestleMania. Why not, right? You strap a rocket to somebody and send them to the moon. That's what we do with Jey Uso. That's a bad example because I know his title run didn't work out, but that's not everybody's case, right? So, really good stuff with Jordynne Grace throughout the show. Speaking about Chelsea and Julia, my biggest gripe with this show is that WWE is still not treating the Women's United States Championship like the rest of the belts. Now, another rumor out there, is that they don't see it as a very important title, and they just kind of introduced it as a way to have another belt. And on top of that, it's a TV belt right now, which is fine. You need a TV belt. I think every company needs a television championship, a belt that you can defend it wherever you want, but most of the big matches, most of the title changes happens on TV. That's what a TV title is supposed to be. But that's fine, but there's just been no build, or not good build, to every U.S. title match. It's kind of like 13 to 16 second backstage interactions, and then 2 weeks will go by, and all of a sudden it's like, tonight, U.S. title match. And then last night, Julia won the belt back, which is fine. Julia is fantastic. I have said time and time again that Julia is one of those superstars that could be world champion and probably should be someday. Sorry, my son's in my lap, and I just realized he fell asleep. Either I'm very boring or I'm very soothing. You decide. But the point is, Julia as U.S. champion is absolutely fine. Actually, I love Julia as U.S. champion. Chelsea as U.S. champion was great too. But there was no heat. I don't say there was no jeopardy because the title did change hands, but nobody really cared because you didn't build it right. So in the end, I think that was the mistake, not changing the title. I'm stuttering. The mistake was having the match without having any sort of proper heat to it. But if WWE did that so they can restart and build Julia and build her a proper challenger like Jordynne Grace, that'd be great. I think Jordan and Julia had a match on NXT back in the day, and it was really, really good. Again, I say I think, but I'm pretty sure they did. And I just would love to see that on the main roster, but they just need to build it right. So that was cool. Title changes are always good, but again, it just didn't feel like one. Just build it better. That was my biggest gripe with the show. You also had a bunch of other stuff, debuts and returns. You had Trick Williams. Again, this is probably out of order. You had Sami Zayn come out and cut a big promo about how in 2026 he's coming for the world title, and he got interrupted by Trick Williams. And now I'm pretty sure Trick Williams is officially on Smackdown, and he's going into a feud with Sami Zayn. That's, to use some stupid 2025, 2026 phrase, that's the kind of feud that's going to feed families. Like, Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn is the kind of match where neither guy should really lose because Sami needs a big win because he's, had a weird career and he had a really weird 2025. But Trick's on the main roster now, so he needs a big win. Arguably, I think Trick needs the win, but we'll talk about that when we talk about it. Plus, somebody pointed out, they were trying to be an asshole about it, but someone pointed out how different they look. Like, Sami was kind of just like in tattered clothes and had his hair up. He didn't really look like he gave much thought to what he was wearing. He just kind of wanted to go out there and talk. Whereas Trick came out in that bright white coat. I think he calls himself the Anointed One now. Amazing. Maybe he called himself that on NXT. I don't know. But that's going to be a fantastic match. And now you have Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes on the same show. If Carmelo's going to continue doing the U.S. Open Challenge, you can do that match down the line. I would do it at a pay-per-view. I would have Carmelo announce he's doing U.S. Open Challenge at like the Royal Rumble, maybe not the Royal Rumble, but at like Elimination Chamber or even WrestleMania. I know that's putting a lot of pressure, but you have him be like, I'm going to do U.S. Open Challenge, and you have Trick accept it beforehand. Be like, I'll take you on at X pay-per-view, and then you can build that match off the back of their NXT feud, and then you can add more to it on the main roster. Trick is just going to be over the moon. He already is. He's supposed to be a heel, but when his music hits, the entire crowd says, whoop that Trick, and I'm one of them. I love Trick Williams. And then if you want to get even crazier, you had Matt Cardona make his proper debut on WWE. A lot of people are going to yell at me for that, but it's true. Somebody said they want to see Zack Ryder versus LA Knight, and I was like, well, Zack Ryder doesn't work for WWE anymore. Matt Cardona does. And that makes people so mad. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He went out there, he kind of killed the Zack Ryder character, and then he said, if I sign with WWE again, which I want to do, I want to be as Matt Cardona. Now, a lot of people, stupid people, I try not to be mean to wrestling fans online, but y'all are stupid, honestly. We're like, well, how come he wrestled as Zack Ryder during the John Cena tournament? Because Zack Ryder and John Cena had history. You tell me how much history John Cena and Matt Cardona have, and then I'll listen to your argument. None. They had no history. They had no interactions. So for the John Cena tournament, it had to be Zack Ryder. But for his official return to the company, he can be Matt Cardona now. I thought that entrance was brilliant. You had the woo, 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 and everyone got excited. Then it stopped. Dead silence before you got Always Ready, and it was Matt Cardona. He was super over, too, which I really liked. I was a little nervous because of a WWE crowd. I can't do proper quotes because my other arm is occupied. But a WWE crowd can go either direction, but they knew who he was. They knew how important he was. They were happy to see him no matter what persona he went as, but I think they're more excited he's Matt Cardona. And he has signed with WWE. If you haven't seen the massive social media post he made, you need to go read it. It is really inspiring. It's the bet on yourself argument, right? People are always afraid to bet on themselves. I was one of them. But if you do it, you never know what's going to happen. Zack Ryder left WWE. Well, I think he was fired. Bet on himself for 5 years and is now back in WWE at a much higher status than he used to be. I can see Matt Cardona in the world title picture by 2027. I don't know if he'll ever be world champion. I'd do it. I don't give a shit. Why not? I don't think everybody should be world champion, but I think a strong number of wrestlers have a good argument for it. But it was just so cool to see him back. I love Kit Wilson's toxic masculinity character, I guess. Everyone loves his new theme. I have to hear it a few more times. Everyone's like, it's a bop. And it's not bad for sure. But I love it. I can't wait till, what is his name? Elton Prince comes back. I wonder if they're going to be a team again or if they'll feud. That'd be interesting. if Elton Prince comes back and is like, what is wrong with you, Kit? So it's funny to say that because I used to have a dog named Kit. I'm gonna fix my... I hope y'all heard that. But yeah, so you had that happen as well. So you had all of this in one show. You had Randy Orton come back. You had Trick Williams premiere on the show. You had Jordan Grace in the back. You, you had the stuff with Matt Cardona. Then you had Carmelo Hayes versus Johnny Gargano. Fantastic match. How can you get mad at that? News broke that apparently Tommaso Ciampa is not re-signing with WWE. I was going to make this video yesterday, but I was really too busy. And I'm glad I didn't because now I have the information in my head that Ciampa's leaving. I don't know when his contract is up. I didn't see that. It might be in a couple months or end of the month. I don't know. But the point is, rumor has it that Tommaso Ciampa has decided to no longer be with the WWE, and that's crazy. It's interesting because Johnny Gargano has the Ways theme now, which I don't think Ciampa was a part of that Ciampa. God, I can't get my head straight around his name. But Tommaso leaving the WWE is going to be interesting. Obviously, everyone's going to start going, AEW, but wherever he wants to go is fine with me. Who cares if he goes to AEW? Who cares if he comes back to WWE? Who cares if he does what Matt Cardona did? That is an indie darling for 5 years. He was an indie darling before he was in WWE. I know it sounds like I'm getting off subject, but I'm really not. This is important. I want to do with Johnny now because they were pushing DIY, sort of. So now that he's going to be leaving, are they going to do something with that? Or is Ciampa off TV until his contract is up? Very interesting stuff. Again, the Carmelo Hayes match with Gargano. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Carmelo Hayes is definitely going to carry WWE in the future. I believe that's all the big stuff before the main event. Besides this, which I am getting to, the Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes stuff. My only other problem with the show overall is that right now I don't think there's any jeopardy in the 3 Stages of Hell match. And I also kind of feel like the matches were kind of predictable. However, I don't think that's a problem because Simon Miller, who I will mention as much as possible, not for clout, but because he's my inspiration, he pointed out that the match lineup, the standard wrestling match, Falls Count Anywhere, Steel Cage, is the exact same lineup, the exact same setup as Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from 2001. And people still look fondly on that match. I'm not saying this will be as good as that, but go back and watch that match from 01. Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin's 3 Stages of Hell. It's the exact same 3 matches in that exact order. It is brutal. It is insane. People are super into it. And the ending is kind of infamous these days, where they kind of hit each other with weapons, and Steve Austin falls first, and then Triple H falls second, but he happens to fall on top of Stone Cold and get the 1, 2, 3. Don't think you should do that with this matchup. I do think that this needs to be definitive, kind of like the main event was, even though Drew McIntyre's had way too many opportunities. Not that I mind Drew getting opportunities. It's more the fact that he just keeps losing. And at this point, I do kind of feel like Cody should have moved on. I wouldn't mind if Drew won. He's just not gonna. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm thinking it'll be Cody, Drew, Cody. I think that makes the most sense. Because if you do Drew, Cody, Cody, I feel like that extra buries Drew. I don't know. But I think that's how I would do it. I'd have Cody win the first match, and then Drew can get pissed during the Falls Count Anywhere match and kind of kick Cody's ass and win the second fall, and then everyone's like, oh, and then Cody wins the Steel Cage. I don't know what to do after that with Cody, and we'll talk about that when we talk about it. I feel like there's no jeopardy. I do like the setup. I wasn't upset. A lot of people were really mad when they announced the matches. But even before I had the Stone Cold Steve Austin Triple H thing in my brain, or revealed to me or reminded to me, I was still like, this is fine. They'll have a good match. And I'm sure Cody will convince the higher ups to let him and Drew do some crazy stuff. Someone will bleed. Maybe both of them will bleed. Drew bled like a stuck pig when he wrestled CM Punk. And Cody loves to bleed. So there'll probably be blood. How many times can I say the word blood or bleed in one video? It'll be really good stuff, right? SmackDown next week is going to be awesome. I can't remember everything that's happening, but Raw is going to be good too. So, like I said, maybe I'll do this video for Raw and SmackDown next week if it's worth it. The main event, Aleister Black and Damian Priest in an ambulance match kind of came out of nowhere. I don't feel like they actually announced that it was an ambulance match. I don't even think they announced that they were going to have a match. I think it was kind of and tonight's main event is this. But it was awesome, right? They beat the absolute hell out of each other. They're throwing each other through tables and into barricades, and Aleister Black got razor's edged into the windshield of the ambulance, and then he got thrown off the top of, he got pushed off the top of the ambulance through 2 tables. Rhea Ripley was in the back of an ambulance, which has ruined ambulances with me forever. For me forever. I'm never going to get an ambulance again because I'm going to expect mommy to be standing there making that face. But that was a cool, she always has Damien's back. That was awesome. And then after he threw Alistair through those tables, threw him in the ambulance. Feud's got to be over now. Put these guys doing something else. Put Damien in the U.S. title picture or the world title picture. Damien's been a world champion, so why not? Give Cody some more contenders. Make the Royal Rumble feel special because a lot of people, a lot of American and non-Saudi Arabian fans are pissed that it's in Saudi Arabia this year. So if you give all these top stars something to brag about, something to do, and put them in a position where they're like, I want the world championship, then we have like a group of wrestlers to root for in the Royal Rumble. So that's all I really wanted. I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys. Obviously, this is not a strict wrestling channel, but because the beginning of the year, the holiday season is so busy, I haven't had a chance to play any video games or get anything else on the channel yet. So just bear with me. I do promise there's more coming. Still planning on playing Unreal Tournament 3. Still planning on playing other games on the channel. So on and so forth. But thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And leave comments down below what you thought about the first 3 hours SmackDown. Like I said, I'm definitely going to try to plan to do a video like this for the Raw next week and the SmackDown next week. They're both really, really big shows. They got all kinds of... I think Raw has 3 title matches. SmackDown's got this and some other stuff I can't think of. But, excuse me, it's got a lot... both shows have a lot going for it. We'll see what kind of momentum SmackDown keeps with the 3 hours. And yeah, I'll definitely want to talk about whatever happens with the title matches on Raw and the 3 stages of hell match. So until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT. I promise this is not strictly a wrestling channel. And I'll see you in the next one.